The World Cup taught me a lot about free TV. So, if you're watching this right now, the World Cup is just wrapped. Congratulations to Spain filling over Argentina after the longest feeling World Cup final I can remember quite some time. Messi fans, I feel for you. Now, what does all that have to do with free TV? Actually, a lot, if you can believe it. So, Tubi had a couple games from the World Cup on their air, which is a big deal. These media rights cost a lot of money, as I'm sure you all know from watching these stadiums cover up their names in anticipation of hosting an actual World Cup event. But could it also be a signal of what's to come with free TV? Let me explain. Each one of your free TV streamers, Tubi with soccer, they had a Super Bowl telecast a while ago, and other sports like F1 does Tubi events, Pluto TV, UFC. It's only a matter of time before they start experimenting with college football, and maybe, just maybe, the NFL. We'll see. That'll be one of the last holdouts in this whole free TV thing. Over on Peacock, wrestling, the NBA, look for that to kind of test the waters. And with Fox trying to buy Roku channel, you could see some of those Fox properties go over to Roku channel for free. I think they also had a Super Bowl stream. Each one of these places does free TV and sports in their own way. It usually is very heavily dependent on what the streamer itself has the rights to. But each one of them is like poking around the periphery to figure out what's going on. Tubi was happy to lead the charge this recent World Cup. I mean, it sent me this awesome jersey that says "Believe in Free" on it. They also sent us this soccer ball, and we've got an unboxing for you. So stick around later in the video. I'll be doing that. I'll put a timestamp right here to let you know where you can go to see me unbox all this stuff. I'm going to inflate while we're talking here because we're just chatting, we're just hanging out. But yeah, sports has become massively expensive over the last decade or so. You can't really escape it. You could be a fan of baseball, basketball, American football, hockey, combat sport like the UFC, even more niche topics that have now become mainstream like F1 or cricket or Sail GP. Professional bowling, whatever you watch, if it's on television, chances are it became more expensive in the last decade on broadcast. How do you inflate this thing? We're gonna find this out. Also, yeah, what a thing! Hilarious. Hold the video trying to inflate a soccer ball, but here we are. This is 2026, baby. This is what we do. They were like, "Be a writer." What's that? Okay, we got some headway getting. Yeah, there we go. Get this nonsense cracking. Look at that. That's not even looking like a soccer ball yet. But it will. Okay. As I was saying, the last half decade, we've had so much happen when it comes to sports broadcasting rights. Not to date myself too much, but in my day, the NBA was on regular broadcast television, along with MLB baseball for the most part. Football, of course, unquestioned, CBS, Fox, NBC, and occasionally ABC. I want to be sure that I let them in there. Hockey, a little bit more of a harder sell, but definitely President of America. I mean, we had 3 Mighty Ducks movies when I was a kid, so clearly there was a market there. But, somewhere around the turn of the millennium, more of this stuff started to migrate towards paid streaming or paid cable back then. The wide world of sports style broadcast became harder and harder to accomplish because there was so much money in media rights. Tubi sent out this wonderful care package. It's the Tubi Football Club, Tubi FC on the front of the box. And on the back, we got this 26 because that's what year we're in. Inside of the box, we got some goodies for World Cup action. It was all free on Tubi, at least a couple of the games. And they had a bunch of analysis. There was a show with Gronk and James Winston, other influencers giving their takes on the World Cup up to the final with Argentina and Spain. See what we got right here, okay? First of all, Tubi Football Club logo right here. You can see it's like a T, the B is in there, the U is right there in the middle, and the I at the end with 3 stars. Really, really cool. It's gonna be inside of the box as well. So this is what we're working with here for the box. We've got, as you can see, a ball, a jersey, it's some other fun stuff going on in here. So let's get right into it, right? So first up, this soccer ball. Awesome piece. Tubi FC branding, little stars all over it. It says "Believe in Free 2026," which, I mean, here at How to Watch Free TV, we're always believing in free. Really cool. So we got that. You've also got a ball pump, which I haven't had for a basketball in this house for quite some time, and now have one for this lovely soccer ball, lovely football. So many extra needles too, which shout out to you. Thanks to me. I really appreciate that. Actually, we've also got scarf here in the team colors, as you can see. Tubi FC, right? Football club. And the back side, it says, believe in free. I'm stoked. Being from the Midwest, this thing would have did absolute numbers and still will this fall for me. So that's awesome. So we got the scarf, football scarf here. Got to represent what you're supporting, right? Getting shred all over the place. And your main event here, which is this Tubi Football Club soccer jersey. Let's get this out here so you guys can see it. So got in front of this guy, Tubi Football Club soccer jersey with zero, which is a reference to the pricing. It says, I believe in free on the front. This patch, this Tubi FC patch is actually sewed on, which is really, really cool. Nice rubber material, sewed on patch. Pretty classy move. I like that a lot, actually. And on the back, we've got the football club at 26, because that's the year it is. You see this guy right here. Front for you again. We've also got a football flying decal, nice speedy version of the logo. And then this cool, you can see a little bit of nice paper stock on that. So embossing, which says Tubi Football Club. Congrats, you just got called up to Tubi Football Club. Your signing bonus is sick gear. I didn't know what the heck this thing was going to be when I opened it earlier. Really, really, really striking, really cool. Rebox this bad boy up and then give you that to know what we're talking about here. Yeah, just an absolute tight campaign, cool detailing. Free sports is one of the things I love the most about the category right now. Sporting costs for Sunday ticket, NBA League Pass, MLB Network, and MLB.com subscription, NHL's online service to watch their product, using in the past to do the Cricket League on Disney Plus, et cetera, et cetera. The list goes on. And of course, the minefield it is to watch soccer without a cable subscription. All that can really be remedied by having some of these things on for free, because sports is one of the only things that still can attract the advertising dollars necessary for this to really make a dent in the categories. Can't say enough about that. Really impressively blown away by the package, honestly. Jersey, ball, scarf, pump, the stickers, the personalized box. It really is fun. But believing in free is the real point. Let's explore. Look at all this stuff, man. Yeah, absolutely. Do you believe that? Isn't that crazy? Look at this thing. I started this a long time ago. I never imagined you'd get mailers or any fun stuff. I really was out here just to let you guys know about free TV and free sports. And here we are. We've leveled up so much. It's crazy. It's crazy to think. Let's dive in and figure out how sports is essential to the future of free TV. So now, like soccer ball, look at this. Look at this thing. This bad boy is going right on the wall. And probably going to get played with occasionally. One of the dogs going to get at this thing, and I'm going to probably weep. But we've looped right on back around to the point where free TV and free broadcast is probably where it's at. Look at that. Handsome ball right there. It's really cool. Look at that. Wow. I started to realize there was a shift underway when my phone plan offered perks to subscribers for free MLB games and free streaming packages. I was like, something weird is going on here. These are the things they used to charge for. You know how much MLB season subscription was a couple of years ago? Quite a lot of money. So to get something with my bill that said, hey, you know what? You can have baseball this season on us. Just sign up and put in your information from your phone and off to the races you go. I was like, sign me up. I live out of market. I love my team, but it's hard to watch them. And I think that's what's motivated a lot of this as well. Because for those of you who don't know, I used to work for a sports broadcasting service, and I would lament that it was so hard for a lot of fans to see their favorite team on screen or in their own home without a subscription. You'd be better off going to some sports bar and having them put the game on the TV if they even had League Pass, Sunday Ticket, etc. You get me? You feel me? Great. So there has to be a middle ground. Everybody is not going to pony up the ridiculous prices per month to stream sports, even though sports is one of the last bastions of true fandom in our pop culture climate. If you're a sports fan for a long time, chances are your parents were fans of the team that you root for. Not everybody, but a lot of people, right? So there's a sort of brand loyalty that makes sense along with those teams. You'll always root for the teams that your parents rooted for, unless extenuating circumstances, or you come to the sport late. And then if you have kids or you have a friend group or you just go on in life, a lot of people associated with you, be that as it may, probably are fans of similar sporting franchises that you are, and that brand loyalty gets passed on to your kids and on and on and on throughout the ages. Well, broadcast networks used to bank on the same kind of brand loyalty to help bolster their own offerings. If you have the college football playoff lead into a program on ESPN or ABC, or if you have the NBA finals lead into a program on an ABC, right? I think Kimmel Live for a long time in the 2000s. Me and my college roommates still joke around about the NBA having Franklin and Bash lead into Inside the NBA on TNT when we were in school, and how often we'd watch that and the closer because that's just what came on around basketball. Same thing with football. Whatever news telecast, 60 Minutes on CBS or all of Fox programming, they've launched so many shows coming in after NFL football. Why not lean into the same dynamic if you're a free streaming company? That's where Tubi was like, Team USA fever is here. It seems that the men's team is worth something this year, which, I know they didn't get everything done and they didn't get maybe as far as maybe some fans had hoped, but the USA men's soccer team used to be kind of an afterthought for most of my upbringing. So for them to have this groundswell behind them, you had a lot of people poking into Tubi to see what was going on, and Telemundo and the other places it was available. And once they're in the interface, they'll poke around to see what else they enjoy. Makes sense? I thought so. So what other streamers might start doing is experimenting and testing the waters, right? A while ago, when I was still in sports, Nickelodeon launched their Slime Time telecast of the Super Bowl. And there was a little bit of mirth, some smirks from a lot of sports media types when they launched that format. But it did so well, presenting the Super Bowl in this kind of irreverent way with different announcers, AR filters, the slime in the end zone, and other weird perks, and explaining the game to kids who might not have that much of an interest in football, open themselves up to an entirely different market. It became the way that I actually like to watch at least a quarter of it that way now, just to see what they're doing over there. It's interesting to see what they do with the broadcast packages and everything else. The last time they had it, SpongeBob and Patrick's voice actors actually provided commentary during action, and it was pretty glorious. But that did enough that Nickelodeon started putting on Slime Time games earlier in the playoffs, increased viewership and more variety for a viewer. Where do you go wrong? It wouldn't surprise me in about a decade and a half to have a World Cup feed that was for younger football fans. It would make a lot of sense, actually. I still get sad when I think about Cartoon Network's NBA Run It Back, which is basically a Mad Max mashup of pop-up video and actual NBA games with weird AR effects on the shots and dunks and things like that. It was great. It only ran for about probably a season and a half, and they canned it. I wish I knew what company provided the graphics. I would love to see someone else pick up the concept. That's the kind of thing that's going to lure in new viewers into the future. A different viewing experience. Not just the same canned broadcast show, not just the same studio packaging, something that feels fresh. Tubi managed to achieve that with a lot of their World Cup coverage. Having Gronk and Jameis Winston do soccer stuff might sound a little bit strange, but I guarantee you they lured in some people. They also leveraged existing personalities that knew about the game to talk about it on the influencer level inside the app. So you got all kinds of analysis going on. You can stick to the Fox Sports guys and gals. You can stick to the Telemundo crew, who are amazing at what they do, by the way. probably the best viewing experience other than having it for free. You gotta offer something a little different. And the last reason that you might see more of free TV embracing sports in this way is just the reality that sports is the only bastion of our pop culture left that isn't circumscribed to the whims of streaming. Sports is the last arena that's left for live events. The Super Bowl is still a destination. That halftime show is still a destination, one that advertisers will pay the nose for and viewers enjoy as water cooler style conversations that we just don't have on a culture wide scale. And sports gets it done. And I think more people are going to wake up for that. So as free TV grows, becomes more important, becomes a bigger part of people's lives as they struggle to figure out where their favorite game is being played and if I have to pony up any subscription money for it, you should expect to see free TV play a massive role in the sports landscape moving forward. And if you want to get the ball rolling on your own free TV experience, we do that here. This is How to Watch Free TV. I'm Aaron. We give you 3 free picks a week in our free TV newsletter at How to Watch Free TV. Also on this channel, we've got interviews, analysis, breakdowns, and more of the shows and movies that you love. That's at How to Watch Free TV. Subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and remember, the best things on TV are absolutely free. Enjoy your free time, pals. We'll catch you later.